so. No, you're right. Ooh, do I got this on loop? Play some ride. Ride. Rolling thunder. There's my bedroom. There's from your mother. She denies you. I guess the man lived on a Sunday. I won't leave it, but it's on no say. Thunder rolling in the room, rolling thunder across my bedroom, 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 rolling thunder across my bedroom. Thunder, thunder, this is my bedroom. Heard from your mother, she doesn't recognize you. Mickey Mantle left on a Sunday. Unbelievable. Song to say. Russians want to play? Russians want to play, yes. There's a lot of Russians playing this game. But there used to be. I think we scared off most of the Russians. God damn it. Money. I have no idea where to start. Let's start with an update like this, as I'm genuinely perplexed about what to do with it. What do you want me to do, my Christine? Okay, so I've already discovered, like, this looks so much better with the gold. It's just the way that skin looks. Or actually, maybe not. Never mind. It's a new honey. Sup, Simple? Sup? I feel like hang on, I gotta pause the music because I'm gonna try to singing. I feel like I'm burning you every time I see your name, because no matter what part of it I say, if I say Simple or if I say Da, I feel like I'm like trying to burn you, and I'm not. I'm just like reading your name. Why did you make that name? Like, just out of curiosity, because it's kind of like a built-in self-burn, isn't it? I've seen a few names like that where they're not trying to be cool, they're just kind of funny names. And usually those are the names I remember more easily, because usually if I remember somebody else's name for like other reasons, it's because they've annoyed me. I find them like terribly obnoxious. In a fairly ostentatious way. Okay, buddy. It's true. It's a self-burn. I think it's a self-burn. I don't know. But what is the origin story, Simple, behind your name? I mean, I'm not going to argue that. I mean, like, what you think is cool is, if it's your opinion, I don't think that there's an argument there. I think it's silly when people try to argue opinions. Like, okay, maybe you want someone to agree with you. And that's one thing, okay? You want someone to be agreeable with you. But you're not right. Okay? You can't be right in a matter of opinion unless there's some weird factual basis for it. Um, if it's just pure opinion, it's just your preference. Like, people get really bent out of shape when their their opinion doesn't match up with your opinion. Why can't you have your opinion and they have their opinion? So, yeah, I was watching some videos. I always watch like at least a video or two before I start streaming, and apparently people are livid. Certain groups of people, we should say, are livid that the Joker is doing well, like exceptionally well. I saw the movie. It was a really good fucking movie. I talked about it a lot. It had a really big impact on me. And I kind of take a little bit offense to people when saying that he's like a hack or whatever. I often hear people say that he's not as good as his brother, who's been dead for like 20 years or something. Like, what exactly is his brother doing from the grave that's like blowing everything that Yokun Tunix has done out of the water for like his whole fucking life? I mean, it's that's always bothered me a bit. Like, imagine you were trying your best and people were like, simple, if only you were as good as your dead brother. And you'd be like, but I'm still alive. I'm still alive, man. I'm still alive. And he's dead. You gotta get over it. I'm alive. He's dead. Baby, don't compare me to dead people. That's kind of fucked up and creepy. So they like weaponize his brother. And I used to get into debates with people about this a lot because I like the movie Her, which most people have probably never seen. I liked another movie he was in. He was in, I own it. Where the fuck is it? Where did I even put it? Did I read it? I don't know. But anyways, it's got a weird ass fucking name too. I don't know where the hell I put it. Inherent Vice. I highly suggest Inherent Vice. If you haven't seen Inherent Vice, I highly suggest it. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, and he's really good in that. It's a really chill movie. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like that one movie where the two guys are potheads and they like end up like kind of stumbling onto a crime syndicate. Can't remember what the fuck that was called, but I enjoy that. Normally I wouldn't watch a movie like that because I can't stand movies about like potheads. No offense, but or take offense. I don't fucking care. It's like Jesus Christ. It has a similar vibe to that. Like he's just, and he is a pothead. He's definitely a pothead in that movie, but it's so funny. It's just it's a funny, fun, strange, really strange fucking movie. But anyways, yeah, I liked Her, and that was the movie that really, for me, because for a lot of other people, it was when he played what's his name? It's Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash, right? Johnny Cash Ringo. Which, I'll be honest, I don't like Johnny Cash. Alright, there you go, I said it. So, because I don't like Johnny Cash, I have no interest in Johnny Cash. I had no interest in that movie, therefore I didn't see it, even though it probably is a very good movie. The reason for watching that movie would be because you're interested in Johnny Cash. I'm not. I mean, I don't think he was a bad person per se or anything like that. I think he was a very interesting person, from what I've gathered, but for me, it was Her. Her was such a defining movie for him to me. Like, it made him so incredibly attractive to me, personally, because it showed you this really vulnerable side to him that I don't think you saw in any other movie that he was in. Like, he played a lot of really strong, kind of confident, maybe even overconfident characters. That's why he kind of worked with the Joker too. He wasn't really playing a confident character. He was playing this sort of nervous, awkward character that was sort of pushing themselves past that boundary to be a really dominating person, which is not easy to do. All right. Well, a lot of people would think, oh, that's just psychosis or whatever. No, you could have plenty of psychosis and still be a coward and like stay tucked in within yourself for the rest of your life. Um, you know, at what point do people decide like enough's enough in their life, right? And if you have psychosis, and he does, like what is your breaking point? Because everybody has a breaking point. And it was such a fascinating movie because we a lot of other like things out there will talk about how not enough is being talked about mental illness. Well, guess what? The Joker went very heavy into mental illness, and it was incredibly accurate. Anybody that was remotely tinged with any of the psychosis or whatever that he had could relate immediately with the difficulties that he was going through. So obviously they did their research. It was a really startlingly accurate depiction of what it's like to be in a world where people don't understand you because you're different, and in a way that is gonna make them really wary of you too, because you're potentially dangerous. And obviously he ends up being definitely dangerous, but not everybody is. And so if you examine the movie and what it is, like if you remove Joaquin Phoenix from the like you put someone else in there, it doesn't matter. The movie still works. It's just the way he delivered on his lines and the character. I don't know that anybody else could have done such a good job. Not even what's his name, who did a really good job with the Joker in the Dark Knight series. Because this version of the Joker is the most realistic version I've ever seen. Like, ever. Even compared to the Killing Joke, which it's roughly based upon. And it's crazy to me that people can't accept that. I mean, they actually brought sexism into it. They're like, well, clearly if he's winning, then it's sexism. Really? Why? Because he was born with a penis? He does, in the character role, her, he plays an extremely effeminate character. Extremely shy, effeminate character. Really, what about that role is incredibly masculine or defines to you a that he's like, he needs to be the target of feminism, really. Like, it's so fucking silly to me that this shit exists. Like, can't you just leave him the fuck alone? Even if he's weird, like, let him be weird. Like, he's a very unique individual, and he's able to do what he does because he's unique, and no one else is gonna be him. And that's that. And so I think he deserves the praise he got. And the movie did obviously exceptionally well. Despite, yes, when I went to the movie theater, there were fucking cops there. And the person I went with was nervous because they thought we might get shot. When I talked to other people about the movie later on and asked them if they saw it, they're like, well, I was going to see it, but I didn't want to get shot. And I'm like, I saw it and I didn't get shot. In fact, no one got shot. So that was just how much the fucking social media stirred shit up, because they're fucking cunts. And can't leave shit alone because they want you to watch stuff like Captain Marvel, which, fine. I mean, fine. It's an okay movie, but I mean, it's also very cringy. Like, I didn't really get what people meant when they said the movie was kind of cringy until I saw it, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cringy. Like, they just overdo things a lot. Because they wanted it to happen, Takato. Kind of like they wanted people to get shot at Area 51. Like, you know how that whole thing worked, right? Like, everybody wanted to see a bunch of fucking people get shot at Area 51. It's this warped desire. So, one of the basest human desires is to watch someone else suffer. Now, how they get there, what is required for this is not important. As long as for somebody else's entertainment, they get to watch someone suffer. This is why trolls exist. This is why trolls are so prolific on the internet, because trolls exist to satisfy that desire. Trolls make a fool of themselves, and usually, in a manner, victimize somebody else, or maybe even a whole group, right? And at the same time, they satisfy that urge that people has to see someone else suffer. Like maybe they're really brutal, and they don't care because that's what trolling is about. Trolling is not about caring, obviously. There's no empathy, there's no sympathy, there's no nothing there. There's not even apathy. They're absolutely trying to target someone and harass them. It is harassment, what trolling is. Like, I joke around with people a lot, probably too much, but I don't know that I would ever want to go so far as to actually troll someone, like to actively engage with them in a way that I'm just spending most of my energy just harassing them. Like, I don't see the point in it, but some people do. You know, I've dealt with it in Spacelords, and I've dealt with it in other games. It's made me feel very unhinged when it comes to dealing with people online. I mean, that's aside from racism and prejudices and shit like that in general that you're going to face. You're going to face sexism. You're going to face racism. You're going to face various prejudices. Like, you can't play an online game without people, you know, using the word fag, right? You can't. Like, if you have your headset on, you're going to hear people call other people fags. That's a blatant insult. And it's a twofold insult. They're weaponizing the word, and they're also insulting people that happen to be homosexual because it's a derogatory term. And that's considered perfectly acceptable. That's actually considered more acceptable than if you say something racism, though really, honestly, neither of them are acceptable. Like it's what makes me really disgusted with gamers in general is gamers have this belief that because they're playing a game that they could do the most disgusting things and be the most disgusting people, and it's okay because it's just a game. Because what's the saying? It's just a game. Chill out. It's just a game. However, that's not true if you are making a concerted effort to attack someone on a personal level. Then it's not a game. Then it's personal. And these kinds of things bother me. Like, it's you can't just play a game as a game when someone's personally attacking you. I've had it happen to me on my stream. Like I said, I've had people put forth great efforts because they see I'm streaming and they know I stream. And maybe they know I don't like them because I got sick and tired of their bullshit a long time ago. Like, I just know what kind of person they are, and I just choose not to interact with them anymore. And, you know, I might have even had words with them. But they'll make a concerted effort to harass me, because to them that's amusing. And not only do I have to shun them, I have to shun anybody they relate with. Because of this kind of behavior, I can't watch Blood Nico's stream. And this bothers me a lot. You guys have to understand, I actually like Blood Nico, I respect him a lot. However, I cannot associate with him directly because he associates with someone I am very unhappy with. And they put forth great amount of efforts to being disgustingly, like, just harass me every chance they got. And they were just absolutely horrendously disgusting about it. And I don't know if you want me to tell you who it is, but I can't associate with Blood Nico because of that, because I go to his stream, guess who's there? You know, I come back another time, I go to their stream, guess who's there? And I want to say that they did this on purpose, because I'm pretty sure that they knew that I actually do like Blood Nico, and the most mature thing I could do, if Blood Nico doesn't understand what kind of person this is, and they're willing to just welcome anybody into their circle, that is a choice they make. However, that's an exclusionary tactic. Yeah, you kind of have to be careful about that kind of things. I can just as easily make the same kind of mistake. I'm very open about accepting as many people as I can, but sometimes that does bite you in the ass. Sometimes you will. Some of these people that troll me to this day are people that were at one time very interested, maybe even infatuated with me in some level, and they dealt with it in that sort of way. Like they decided to troll me instead because I got tired of them for whatever reason. Oh, no. This is just me talking. This is just me doing my thing. This has nothing to do with the update or anything. What is with the cat tentacles? You guys, don't be fighting in my chat. I can't tell if you guys are seriously fighting or not. We have a very strangely adverse community that somehow does, for the most part, get along. But we are also a very diverse community. I think it's pretty obvious to anybody that comes within our community. There's a lot of gay people in this community. Like, Come on. There's a lot of gay people. There's gay, transsexuals, lesbians. It's like a giant art house on a whole. Like you can't help but and Mercury Steam is very aware of this as well, and they're very supportive of it. In fact, they had no problem with coming to Sadistic Kitten, right? Now, if they had a problem with that sort of thing, they wouldn't have approached her at all. For, reasons I'm not going to explain, but it's a very open community. And that's... But it's difficult for people to digest that. Like, the part of our community, because like Eli was streaming the game last night, and I think the one thing that people can't accept about our community, if they ever do become a part of it, is if, for one, you're homophobic. Like, this is a horrible community for you to be in, because there's a lot of reason for someone to be homophobic within this community. Like, there's just reasons all over the place. Like, there's obviously non-heterosexual artwork, and fanfics and things like that. There's a lot of that going on within the community, and that's because the people within the community itself are admittedly and very openly gay, bi, lesbian, transsexual, etc. It's a very broad community as far as that goes, but it's not just that. It doesn't just stop there. The community itself is from all around the world. You have people from Russia, France, it's Italy, United States. Hardly anybody from the United States, but Spain, obviously, a lot of people are from Spain. Brazil, one of the developers, and I'm still trying to fucking get an interview with, Walter Mikachu, is in Brazil, and I would still love. He's a brilliant guy. Every conversation I have with him just reminds me how fucking brilliant he is, and just how much I want to interview him, and he won't let me interview him. Maybe because my standards are too low on my production and things like that. I don't know, but I'm always giving him that opportunity. I like Eli. I've watched him stream a couple of times, and I think he's a very intelligent person. And the fact that he's pointing things out to us that we've been pointing out to Mercury Steam all along is kind of shocking in a way, because normally I'm always afraid we're feeding people information. All right, so there's a saying when it comes to arguments. It's called poisoning the well. So somebody comes into an argument and you immediately inject your opinion, and it is just your opinion of something, into the conversation. Boom, you've poisoned the well. So now their opinion is affected by your own opinion, and you do this on purpose. It's a form of manipulation. And I'm always worried that we're poisoning the well when new people come to the game, because we're kind of a very negative group of people. Maybe we're overly cynical is a nicer way to put it, but his own cynicism came from himself more than anything else. And I think when I came into his stream, I was super fucking grumpy. I can't remember exactly why I was super fucking grumpy, but I was super fucking grumpy. And then I almost got into it with his mod, which was not something I normally would do, because that's just stupid. Like, that's just how you get yourself banned out of channels. But, like, I was just in a really foul mood. And for some reason, the mod just was trashing the game. Like, absolutely trashing the game without any real grounds. Like, they were just, like, seeing stuff and just being like, it's like, fine, like, that's your opinion. But it was a relatively baseless opinion. It was pretty clear that they were doing what did I just bring up? They were trolling us. They were trolling the entire community, which is really fucking dumb. I don't know why a mod would do that. I've never actually seen a mod troll a community for a game that, well, actually, no, I can't say that. Actually, that's kind of a common thing for some reason for mods to do. They'll troll the community of the game because people are coming to the stream to watch it, and they're fans of the game. And the mod will sometimes, because they have mod powers, sometimes I feel like maybe they shouldn't be mods. Maybe they shouldn't be mods. Maybe they're a little bit too irresponsible with their powers, and they're just blatantly offensive trolls. And I honestly do think his mod is a troll. But I mean, you form your own opinion of that thing. That was astounding to me. But I should curve my enthusiasm. I do think he delivers really good quality content. and I'd be more than happy to see him stream the game more. I just don't know if he will. I mean, that's a choice he's going to have to make, and I don't think he made the video yet. So it'll be interesting to see that, because I'm always looking to see more people from the outside that, again, haven't been poisoned too much by us or extended exposure to the game, going through its various rapid fire changes, sometimes that are very drastic and jarring. They haven't been exposed to that, and I wanna know their look. I want to know what they think. I desperately want to know what people from the outside think, because I know our opinions are so colored. Don't ban Freckle. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Jesus Christ. Takato did immediately use his powers to silence Jay. Though, to be fair, Jay didn't really say anything of value. So, I mean, there wasn't really much lost there. I think he said something about his stream being slightly longer than an hour, and Takato was like, no. No! Your stream is exactly an hour long. And then he silenced him. No, I'm just kidding. But I like Jay. I don't know if you guys realize that I'm fairly friendly with Jay. I just like to pick on him because he's like really short. He's really short podcasts. And that's the content he chooses to do, and that's fine. I've often questioned, like, what is a good length for my own streams, and I go back and forth, because, like, I'll do a 10-hour stream, and sometimes people will stay for the entire 10 hours, and I feel like if I do anything less, like, I'm sort of doing a disservice. And then other times I do a shorter stream and I feel like it's perfect, like it's just the right amount. I don't know how to put it, but there's theories on what is the perfect length, but it's so muddled. He's a funny guy, but he's I wouldn't say he gets ruffled, but it's funny to see the kind of things he comes back with. I still have to play Contra with him. They finally got all the DLC out for Contra. The season pass, as it were, which is a joke. It was like $5 for that season pass. If you got it as a bundle, like I did, it costs you $5. If you don't get it as a bundle, it costs like $10. And it includes a bunch of skins, which, by the way, doesn't include the really fucking cool skins that are exclusive to fucking Sony's platform. God damn it, Sony. Every fucking time I turn around, Japan is making backroom deals with other Japanese companies. I mean, I know this is going to happen. Like, the real reason, you can call the Xbox a trash box if you want. That doesn't really bother me. But the real reason why Sony did well is because of them being Japanese and the other developers also being Japanese. Okay, and then the rest of it is severe fanboyism, because I don't honestly think they deserve half the praise they get, but what do you want me to do? Like, the numbers speak for themselves. People bought a lot of PS4s. You know, when they go and they release this new crazy Xbox, which is going to be like $1,000 fucking dollars. Holy shit, man. It's going to be so expensive. There's no way I'm fucking buying that thing. Microsoft is insane. It's really going to be like a rich kid's toy, is what it's going to be. It's going to be so fucking expensive. Because if the Xbox One X is $500, and it is, this thing that's supposed to be more powerful, I think it's like literally like a bunch of Xbox One X's combined together or some stupid shit like that, because it's a tower. It's a fucking tower. I looked at the thing and I'm all like, okay, Microsoft, stop fucking with me. You're now selling me a fucking tower computer in the name of a console. Now you done fucked with me way too much. Like, that is a fucking computer. Like, you're selling me a fucking computer and you're calling it a console. Now Steam has done this. What do they call them? What are the Steam versions called? What the hell are those called? There's something boxes. They're actually a box in the name. Is it Valve Box? Is it a Valve Box? They're not very popular. I don't think hardly anybody owns any. It was like one of those stupid things they did. It's like the Valve controller, fucking weird ass thing that it is. They tried to sell that shit. It looks really super fucking awkward. I mean, I can kind of get what they were going for, but when you look at the thing, it just looks fucking cheap. Like, it looks as cheap as every other computer controller I've ever seen. It looks like cheap crap. They clearly didn't spend much money on designing that fucking thing or putting it together. Like, when I hold an Xbox controller in my hand, you can say whatever the fuck you want. This thing has good weight to it. It has good stability. It has ergonomics. There's a real fucking design that went into this thing, you stupid fucking Sony fanboy cunts. Okay, so when you tell me that a PlayStation 4 controller is better than this, I'm going to argue with you, okay? Because there's factual basis around why I like this controller. It has to do with real fucking facts. Not fanboyism, facts. And if you can't handle that, if you can't handle that the Xbox controller is just a better evolution of controller design, and that it used to be the PlayStation 2 controller. The PlayStation 2 controller was, at that time, the best design for a controller. It's not anymore, okay? It's just not a good design anymore. You could see the flaws in the design as soon as you hold an Xbox One controller in your hand. They're fine. I mean, they're not perfect, but there is an elite controller for... Okay, so I don't know if Sony has a Pro controller or... not a Pro controller, I guess it is a Pro controller. For PS4. Microsoft does. They have a controller that you can get. Okay, that is a Pro controller designed for competitive gaming. Okay, it's fucking designed for that. And it got very well reviewed. Alright. Well, yeah, because it's got a built-in fucking battery you can't take out. Who thought that was a brilliant fucking idea? Do you know what my Xbox One controller has? It has a fucking battery pack. And I can charge it. And when the fucking thing finally dies, I can pop it out and buy another one. Go ahead and try that with your fucking PS4 controller. Your stupid fucking Bluetooth PS4 controller. Go ahead. Go ahead, try that. It ain't gonna fucking work. And also the things are made cheap. They're light. They're easy to break. There's a lot of reasons why it's not as good of a design. But if you have smaller hands, and this is where the baby hands joke comes from. Because obviously you guys' hands aren't as small as babies. But if I want to compare like crazy, freakishly big American hands to, and which is really more like, you know, like the Swedish people and the Dutch people, they're very large people, to someone from Japan, they're gonna look like baby hands, okay? Like, compared to fucking someone from Sweden, your hands are gonna look pretty goddamn small if you're in Japan. Like, it's nothing personal, it's just it's kind of just genetics, and there's other factors too. But so if your hands are smaller, like the controller for PlayStation makes sense for people in Japan. It makes a lot of sense. It fits them perfectly. For their hands, it fits them perfectly. An Xbox controller probably feels like a fucking SUV to them. Like, it's just excessive. It's too big, right? So I can understand that. I can understand from a personal perspective why people would like the PlayStation controller. But when you go past that and you start looking at ergonomics and design and stuff like that and really start looking at it, you'll notice that the design of the PlayStation controller has stagnated, and the design of the Xbox controllers has actually evolved. They've gotten, first they got smaller, then they changed the shape a bit, then they changed the way things work on the controllers. Like, they actually fucking evolved the design of the controller. The PS4 controller is a PS3 controller, is a PS2 controller, just with different shit slapped into it. Which, by the way, like the PS3 controller, no one used the fucking Rumble controllers, or what were they? The weird motion sensor controller? No one used that shit. It didn't work. It was a fucking stupid design that didn't work. It was not functional. Like, I remember people talking about it and trying to get it to work. It was like them trying to do something like the Wii, but it didn't work. Like, it just didn't work. Like, it was incredibly awkward. It was 6-axis. Sorry, the 6-axis controller. I mean, it was a novel attempt at them trying to innovate, but let's be honest. Sony is not an innovator. If you really think Sony is an innovator, look at their history, okay? They're not an innovator. What they are is a company that releases products that tend to be of a fairly high quality, though very fragile. Sony's products are known and prolific for being incredibly fragile. Most things from Japan are. Like, I would put them on par as far as like fragility goes. That's right, I used the word fragility. With Apple products. Apple products are also incredibly fucking fragile. Like, I have a Samsung tablet, okay? And that thing is definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, sturdier than an Apple tablet. I'd put good money on that. And it's cheaper. It's cheaper and it's sturdier. And it's almost as good as the equivalent version of the Apple product. However, the branding on Apple is much better and stronger, so people will pay exorbitant amounts for an Apple product that's barely better, and is incredibly fucking fragile. And then they'll give it to a little kid, and that little kid will just destroy that fucking thing. The logic behind all of that. Like, there's just a string of logic behind all of those choices that lead up to that event of just someone just obliterating like a fucking Apple product because it's a piece of shit. It just makes me laugh. I don't know what else to do. It's like, why would you even buy your kid that in the fucking first place? Get him like an actual fucking kid's tablet, for fuck's sake. It's designed for impact. It's designed for little kids. So if you ever happen to get a modular controller, which I had one back in the day for my PlayStation 2, modular controllers are really awesome. They let you move things around and basically change the controller however you want. And then only the basic chassis or basic design of the controller is relevant. Everything else is irrelevant to you because you could adjust it however you want. Don't like where the analog sticks is. Maybe you want one of the analog sticks to be like the PlayStation controller because you like them right next to each other. That's fine. I'm not going to debate that with you. If that's something you prefer, you could do that. And I did do that. Because I used to use that controller. It was also compatible with the Xbox. So I actually used this modular PlayStation 2 controller on my Xbox because I had an adapter that let me use PlayStation controllers on the original Xbox. And I did that for a while because I wasn't used to the controllers. But you know what? Honestly, after a while, once I got used to the controller, as most people told me, it's weird and awkward, but once you get used to it, it's really hard to go back. I didn't use my modular controller, and I only really used it on my PlayStation. And because of the weird design of the Xbox controller and where things were placed, I found that I actually ended up preferring how the Xbox was, and I ended up using technically what was an Xbox controller, even though it was a modular PlayStation 2 controller. I changed it to be more like an Xbox controller, and I found it to be far more comfortable because having the two analog sticks right next to each other is very cramped and uncomfortable. Having them more spread out, it just feels more natural. It's like trying to put your fingers, like when you do mouse and keyboard controls, it's like trying to put your fingers right next to each other on the keyboard and hoping that your fingers don't like clash with each other. They're going to clash with each other. This is why often when you type, it's easier to type with one hand than it is to type with two hands. Because if you're not careful, your hands are going to kind of like smash into each other. It sounds stupid, silly, and clumsy, but it's true. Well, that's the PlayStation controller to me. It's like your hands are just so fucking close to each other. It's like you look like an adult riding a small bicycle, like a bicycle designed for little children, and you're just riding that thing like a fucking boss, which by the way is a thing. They call them kit bikes. So you're riding around on your little kit bike thinking you look awesome. You're a grown fucking person riding on a fucking small child's bike. It was designed for like a fucking 5-year-old. You look fucking ridiculous, and you're probably cramping your body up trying to like be in that posture. And again, I'm not a large person by any means. It's just I'm just large enough, you know. I'm like average height and build for like a female in America. I should say that. I should say America. So, like, it feels too small for me. But, anyways. Like, I have personal grudges against Sony that I can't let go. Like, I'm not going to let go that they held up crossplay. I'm not going to let go that they continue to do exclusives that are nonsensical. Like, I swear they just do them just to piss off fucking people that own Xboxes. There's no reason for them to get exclusives on independent games that I could fucking buy on Steam. What is the fucking point of that? And it's not that Microsoft does this too, and I don't appreciate them doing it anymore. But look, Sony, you're not going to get me to buy your fucking console, because at the end of the day, I still don't fucking trust you, and I never will. You do some skeezy shit. And no matter how people fanboy at me, that's not going to change, because fanboyism has zero effect on me. Even if everybody I knew owned a fucking PS4 and I was the only one that owned an Xbox, I would still own a fucking Xbox. You want to know why? Because the thing is built damn well. The fact that I have an original Xbox One, okay, an original Xbox One, and the thing still fucking works, and it plays every single game that comes out, with small exceptions, like PlayerUnknown played horribly on anything but the Xbox One X, but that was because that game is a piece of shit and it was never optimized well, period. I'm not talking about just on console, I'm just saying that game was never optimized well, period. It was a shitty game with a shitty design, shitty engine, shitty everything, that people gave way too much credit, using fucking flipped assets, which I pointed out many times. They didn't even have original assets in it. I swear, it looked like someone went through a fucking asset store and just started downloading shit and throwing it into the world. And people were like, ooh, this is really impressive. Look at these graphics. Yeah, look at these graphics that these fuckers didn't make, okay? That they fucking bought off some stinking store somewhere. Fucking asset flip. The entire game is a fucking asset flip. Like, the content that they do have is a fucking joke. It's just like, go to a fucking clothing store, you know, like the Gap, and you'll see just as much fucking variety in the clothing as you do on shit like that. It's not even real design. It's just, it's sickening. But like the gameplay, I guess, is fun. I don't think so. I've watched people play and it's boring as fuck to watch, and it looks like it's boring as fuck to play too. But people keep insisting to me that like it can be fun. Well, I mean, so can sitting on a pencil. I mean, maybe it hits you the right way. Maybe it nails your prostate. I don't fucking know. But that doesn't mean I want to sit on a pencil every fucking day until that happens. You know, maybe I sharpen it too much. Who knows? Maybe it comes through the other end. And that's just that kind of game to me. And here I am, playing a game I've played for 3 years, and I'm super fucking salty about. And I haven't even fucking touched it. I'm supposed to be building a fucking weapon right now, but I have no idea what I want to build. Now, I do have some inklings. Like, for one, this is one of my biggest gripes. One of my biggest fucking gripes. They showed us. They showed us the fucking karma. Okay, you cunts? At Mercury Steam, you can't be fucking showing me a gun I've been complaining about you holding back for months, and then be like, it's not in the update. Where the fuck is it? In fact, it went so far as there was a fucking weird error where it said Defender R in the 5th slot. I don't know what that was about, but yeah, that went away real fast. That must have been a server-based thing. I caught you guys. I caught you guys so hard. So where the fuck is it? When are we gonna get this fucking weapon? I'm tired of fucking hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing how difficult the goddamn weapon is to make. It's not like you make balanced weapons anyways. It's not like you guys know how to make a goddamn balanced weapon. Most of the weapons are either too ridiculous or too broken, okay? So it's not like I'm gonna give you a bunch of credit anymore for making really well balanced weapons. I don't think the person that designs weapons knows what the fuck they're doing. I don't think they've ever either fired a real gun in their entire life and even know how guns, like real guns, even function. They certainly don't know what a fucking mortar is. A mortar, okay? It's a thing you place on the ground and it fires off shells. That is what a mortar is, okay? It is not a thing you hold in your hands. You would have to be Looney Tunes to hold a fucking mortar in your fucking, like, under your armpit or something. Like, okay, basically at that point, you've got a rocket launcher, okay? But a much more dangerous rocket launcher, because you're going to kill yourself really fast that way. But that's what Mercury Steam thinks a fucking mortar is. Did you guys do any research on weapons at all? Like, at all? Like, the weapons in this game look cool, but they're so far from how real weapons function. Like, shotguns in this game. Oh my god. Do you guys understand how a fucking shotgun works? Do you understand like what a shotgun even is? Like why you would want a shotgun over a pistol or an assault rifle? They don't understand any of this stuff. So the person who designs weapons, that's their job. They have not a fucking clue about what any gun is or what they do or how they function or any of this shit. And they don't know anything about balance at all. Like none. And so I'm supposed to believe that the gun is delayed for the good of the weapon. No, it's just because they can't pull their heads out of their asses and release a fucking gun they've been teasing for over a year. We knew it existed. They revealed it like it was a big surprise. I have a sheet with a bunch of weapons on it and Karma's on it and it's not out. I knew about it a long time ago and I've been waiting for it. Weapon release after weapon release after weapon release from characters that are already out. Well, a lot of other characters that came much later already have their 5th weapons. And Lycus has undoubtedly been snubbed many times. His shield has been snubbed. His gun releases have been snubbed. He just doesn't get a terrible lot of love from the developers, despite their own admission that he is the fucking progenitor of every other fucking character in the entire goddamn game. And yet he gets the least love of it of fucking anybody. And it's just fucking annoying. It shows me that they don't even know how to love their own game properly. Because those of us that do love the game, especially people that love Lycus, because Lycus is a big reason why some people stuck around, right? Female or male, a lot of people attach themselves to Lycus really fast. He has a lot of staying power as far as a character that you just continue to want to be interested in. Like, he's just a very colorful character. He's not a nice person. He's a womanizer. He's psychotic. There's a lot of things about him that you wouldn't like, but you still like him. And it's because he's actually kind of just a likable womanizer psychopath, which is very strange. But in the context of what he's based on, it makes sense. Which is Lobo from the DC universe, which is an absolutely Looney Tunes character, like stupidly overpowered. So that's the character he's based on. So yeah. And don't give me this "it's coming soon" bullshit. I just saw that early 2022. Fuck you, man. I hope to be dead by then. I don't really want to make it through the end of this year, if at all possible. So I need this shit to come out sooner so I could actually experience it before I fucking kick the bucket. It's on my bucket list, Mercury Steam, okay? Will that make you release this motherfucking gun finally before releasing every other goddamn stupid idea you have for a weapon? Before it, could you just release the fucking Karma so I can take it off my goddamn bucket list? Yo, motherfuckers! Like, seriously, can you just do that for me? I appreciate it. It's in my will. I would, yeah, like, because that gun was something I wanted to use the Epic Forge with. And I wanted it to be out the second the fucking update came out. And is it? No. No. I still have to wait. They still want me to wait for this shit. Why the fuck am I waiting still? And I can almost guarantee you, not to be like ultra facetious, that another gun will come out before the Karma does. And I'm gonna lose my shit just as much as I have every other time. And I really don't know why people like Dio, who are obsessed with Lycus, don't completely lose their shit. Like, that they don't get just as tired of this crap as I've gotten. And just like, dude, seriously, just fucking release the gun. If you need to tweak it, it's not like you haven't done that before. It's not like you can get a weapon right the first time. You almost never do. So just let us fucking use the goddamn thing. We want to hold it, caress it, and experience it in whatever fucking mutated form it's becoming, you know. I don't believe that. I swear, I know they're going to release another weapon before it comes out. At least one more. If not 2 more. If not fucking 3 more. Well, and they do this, Freckled. They do this. They tease shit to us. And they make it seem like it's going to be the next weapon. And then they're like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. We were just fucking with you. Don't fuck with me. Okay? Mercury Steam, don't fuck with me. I've been playing your game for 3 years. Don't fuck with me. Okay? I spent a lot of money on this game. I deserve to say, don't fuck with me. Please stop fucking with me. Just release the goddamn gun. And stop. If you have to push another gun back to release the fucking karma so I don't have to see another gun get ahead of it in the fucking line of guns that are ridiculous that you've created to make people even bigger trolls than they already are, then yes, that's what I want you to do. I want you to delay every other fucking weapon until you release this fucking thing, because I'm tired of you fucking teasing it to me. I've never seen such a fucking talk tease in my entire life as the fucking karma. And maybe it's some kind of a weird inside joke. It's just like, well, it'll be out when pigs fly. That's the karma. Gonna have to wait. It's the purple elephant in the room. No one wants to talk about it. Let's not talk about karma and how it gets continually delayed. Like, Christ, what does it have? It has feature creep. So there's a thing called feature creep where you keep working on something endlessly. Just stop. Fuck. Like, how much fucking testing do you need to do on the goddamn gun? I think they just don't want us to fucking have it. Like, they just want to... For once, they're fucking testing something properly, but for once, I'm just going to say, like, just stop and just fucking release it already. For fuck's sake, you've had months to try to fucking fix this thing in whatever way possible. I mean, at some point, they're just going to have to admit they don't know how to make weapons. Like, seriously. They just don't know how to make weapons. Like, the weapons in this game are just so ridiculous and so broken sometimes. Like, half the time, the collision detection doesn't even work. Like, for fuck's sake, the collision detection doesn't work. Like, the gun will just fucking fire through something and do nothing. Like, come on. Okay? Come on. And I'm just supposed to accept that. Oh, well, Quan Rain, you know, when someone gets shot with a shotgun, remember that time? Those shotgun shells phased through somebody's body and did no damage? No, I don't, because shotguns don't work that way. If you point blank shot someone with the fucking shotgun, they would fly back 3 fucking feet at least, fall on their ass and get knocked out unconscious. They wouldn't be like, oh, I'm sorry, you were standing too close to me. Did you not understand the collision detection on this shotgun does not work that way? Did you not know? Did you not know? Fucking worthless. One of the coolest weapons you could ever use in a game is a shotgun. One of the most busted weapons in this game are fucking shotguns. Like, almost none of the shotguns in this game work properly. And the ones that do work properly are not actually shotguns. Like this, that you all keep trying to get me to fight. I like this gun, but I'm going to tell you something that you don't want to hear. This is not a shotgun. It's a triple fire fucking rifle, okay? This is a rifle. Do you guys understand that? This is not a shotgun, okay? This is a shotgun. This is a shotgun. This is a shotgun. This is a rifle, okay? This is not a shotgun. And that's the only reason why this fucking works. It isn't. It just isn't. Even if it fires shotgun shells, it's not a shotgun. By design, it's not a shotgun. Just like, okay, so by that logic, okay, for one, this thing's a shotgun. Definitely a shotgun. And this is a shotgun. Okay? No, it's not. This is a revolver. It may be a kind of weird, fucked up, mutated revolver firing shotgun shells. It's actually like flares or something, but it's still a revolver. Okay? That is what it is. Okay? And this is still also a revolver of some variety. What it fires, what a weapon fires, the caliber of what it fires does not change what it is. So no, the spinning coin is not a shotgun. And I don't know why I've never like really debated this with you guys before, because it's ripe for debate. It definitely is. But it's not a shotgun. And therefore, because it's not a shotgun and they don't know how to make fucking shotguns, it works because they know how to make a fucking rifle. We've seen that. We've seen them make rifles that work. They seem to have a pretty good understanding of how a rifle works. Well, congratulations. You understand how a single point exit weapon works, okay? A single projectile getting fired out, you understand how that works. Good. You understand basic ballistics. Shotguns are not basic ballistics. It is a rifle. It works every bit like a rifle does. So if you were... I'm gonna show you why it's a rifle. I'm gonna point this out in like, because I'm super happy to debate this. All right, so see this right here? See this stock? This is not, you don't need this on a shotgun, okay? So what this is for, this stock right here, this is for stabilizing a rifle, okay, against your fucking arm. So when you fire and it kicks, for one, you don't like accidentally dislocate your shoulder, but also for stability. That's what that stock is for, okay? That's a rifle stock. That is not a shotgun stock. Look up what a shotgun stock looks like, okay? That's not it. You could have a shotgun stock like this, but it wouldn't make sense. This more definitely is for being rested up against the arm, like a rifle. 2, it doesn't have much dispersion, okay? Shotguns are all about dispersion. Having 3 of something, which gives the illusion of dispersion, doesn't mean it's a shotgun. It just means you're firing a multiple round. So you're firing three shots, either vertically or horizontally. You're firing the 3 shots, and then again, this gives you the illusion of a shotgun, but it's not really a shotgun. It doesn't really fill the role of a shotgun very well at all. Like if you try to use this in the role of a shotgun, it would be not so great. Like it could replace a rifle for like if you're trying to, like, let's say just shock someone. So you want to just knock them off their feet. So you're going to hit them with 3 shotgun shells at the same time. And there's an assault rifle that fires shotgun shells. I can't remember what it's called. And guess what? That is an assault rifle. It fires fucking shotgun shells. Shotgun shells. It is still a fucking assault rifle. I think technically they consider it a shotgun, but it's a weird semantics thing. If you've ever seen the thing in a game, it's basically like a high caliber rifle. And it fires very fast too. It's a beastly fucking weapon. Like you could just absolutely fucking destroy someone with that gun. Like it just completely destroys the idea of shooting someone with an assault rifle, which are these they're rifled rounds. So they're built for penetration. Well, shotgun shells really aren't. They're built for impact. That's the specific use of a shotgun shell. The way they crumple up is to that effect. But that's like, here's another weird one. This is where the semantic shit gets really just fucking off kilter. So Herrick actually has a fucking shotgun sniper. Okay, he actually has one. It's called the Easter egg. Does this thing work at all like a fucking shotgun? No. They just call it a fucking shotgun sniper. Like, this in no way is a fucking shotgun, okay? Shooting mines out of it does not make it in any way a fucking shotgun. That makes it a mine launcher, okay? You are launching mines out of it, okay? Or you could call it a mine sniper, whatever, but it's not a fucking shotgun. And this drove me crazy, because when I heard about this gun, I'm like, fuck yes, Herrick's gonna get a shotgun. I'm super excited, and I'm like, this ain't no fucking shotgun. This ain't no fucking shotgun. In fact, stupid secondary mode, which could have been a shotgun, is just a normal fucking sniper shot. Just a weaker version of it. Kudos, Mercury Steam. You really worked hard overnight thinking up that one. Secondary fire mode. You fire a normal but weaker sniper rifle shot. Like, wow, hey. Why would you even bother with that? And no one does. Hardly anybody does. It's one of those weird oddball things. It's a shotgun. Yeah, and of course the Ayana's weapons are mortar. They're mortar launchers. They're mortar launchers, not mine launchers, which is what they actually launch. They launch mines. They don't launch mortars or mortar shells. A mortar shell is very different than a mine. Nope, they are mortar launchers. Okay, so again, they don't really know what the fuck they're even talking about. Like at a very basic level. That shows that, like, as ingenious as they are in design and art and all this other stuff, they did like no fucking research whatsoever. Like they just were like, they're like little kids. Remember, you ever have an experience in school, Takata, where there was a kid that was obsessed with something and they draw like mech art or something like that, but it was kind of ridiculous. Like it didn't make much sense. It probably wasn't going to be anywhere close to functional. But to a little kid who was just, you know, sharing a fun idea, it seemed perfectly fine. And that's Mercury Steam in a nutshell. Like they're like a bunch of little kids. They're like a bunch of little kids. It could be a translation error. I mean, they do say that Hive impregnates everybody, though she does. That's not a translation error. Hive fucks everybody. She fucks them hardcore. There's all kinds of porn about it. You can look it up. Yeah, Hive has sex with everyone. This is what I read when I read that, because I can't see why. Okay? You said that, and I saw a wheelcock pistol. That's what I see. Okay? You say wheelcock or wheellock? Wheellock? I see wheelcock. Wheelcock pistol. Which I'm going to end up calling it a peacock pistol. Because I can, and you can't stop me. I'm super irritated. How are you not as irritated as I am, Dio? I'm super curious about this. Like, I thought you of all people would just be like losing your shit by now. Like, just completely losing your shit. And you've been incredibly composed this entire time. And then sometimes I feel like I'm getting angry in lieu of you not getting angry. But I just don't get it. And it's not the, well, it'll be ready when it's ready kind of thing. Because for fuck's sake, they've been releasing, again, broken weapons since day one. Since day one, they've been releasing broken weapons. That's definitely something that they do. So I don't want to hear that it'll be ready when it's ready crap, because that's obviously a lie. They release things when they're in a broken state all the time. They have the worst Q&A team I've ever seen. I literally think their entire Q&A team is just a bunch of people playing video games and not actually doing any actual, like, bug fixing. I mean, I'm sure they fixed some things that we'll never know because they never made it into the game. And some of those things would have been quite fun. But as far as, like, being I forgot where I was going with this, but yeah, no. I'm not fooled. I refuse to buy the rhetoric. It is kind of funny that the game is getting patched in part. Like, they made this huge mistake, okay, on this update. Like, they fucked up big time. They broke a whole bunch of stuff. And they fixed some of it. Which is good. I guess it's better than nothing. But they fixed some of it. And an undetermined later date on fixing all of it. This is literally every update they've ever released. I'm super surprised it worked on Xbox at all. I was absolutely expecting for the game to fire up and be like, no, not going to happen. There was actually a point where I just like wanted to like beg them, please stop hating on the Xbox. Like, I know everybody does and it's a popular thing to do, but can you please fucking playtest this shit before you release it onto the Xbox? Because, like, all the Xbox releases were fucking atrocious. And the funny thing is they take longer to come out than the PlayStation 4. So it's not like they're not doing a rush job, because they are doing a rush job. But for some reason, the Xbox is the only one afflicted by it. Or was. It seems to be okay now. I think they have a pretty good handle on the different platforms. But obviously, if I were them, I can understand why they would give all of their attention to PlayStation. All of it. I'm just waiting for them to just fucking abandon every other copy of this game that's not PlayStation. I would expect it. Like, I'm expecting them for them to announce another game. And for it to be a PlayStation exclusive. I expect this. Because, why do I expect this? Because, well, as much as I joke with you guys, it really bothers me that this game is going to become a PlayStation exclusive. It basically is. Right now, it basically is. Like, this game's crossplay compatible, who fucking cares? Like, hardly anybody plays on it, except for PlayStation. Like, they took so fucking long to get that done that by the time they did, the only people left were people on PlayStation. Because there's just so many fucking people on PlayStation that it just doesn't matter how many people they lost, because there'll always be more. It's like fucking, like D-Day. Like, PlayStation users are like fucking D-Day. You could kill 1 million of them, and there'd be 1 million more just lined up. Please hose me with bullets. This is the best strategy ever. Like, there just is always going to be more. So, I mean, like, even I think as the users are going away, the veterans or whatnot are dropping off the PlayStation 4, it doesn't matter. There's always more. My God. Like, they're just drowning in people. And the other platforms are not like that at all. People move on very fast on Steam, for one. They don't give a shit about anything because nothing has any real value unless it's super kitschy. I've noticed people stick with games on Steam when they're very super kitschy. And this game, honestly, is not that kitschy. You'd think it would be, but it's not. When I'm talking about, like, super kitschy, I'm talking about, like, stuff like some weird, like, warehouse simulator game where you're not warehouse, but, like, you know, some kind of assembly line thing where I can't remember the name of it, but it was like industrial something or other, where you just like built all these machines and they did stuff for you. And it was like Minecraft, but Minecraft completely simulated for you or some shit like that. People will play games like that like ridiculous amounts of time on Steam. And then Xbox, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure most of the people on the Xbox are either drug addicts or alcoholics. So, I mean, it's not really... it is just the state of being. Like, that's just the United States for you. Like, a lot of people in the United States are either drug addicts or alcoholics. Maybe both. And maybe they smoke for fun, because like being a drug addicted alcoholic means that you probably should just smoke as well. I mean, there's probably an ailment you don't have yet. You know, some kind of rare cancer that you can only get by smoking, drinking, and doing drugs. And they want to make sure they get that too, because Americans are some of the most unhealthy people I've ever seen in my entire life. There are unique body shapes. Unique to people in the United States, because we do incredibly daft things with our diet and our just general health. You won't see these body types anywhere else. Why? Because they don't exist. They don't exist in the human genome, though people will absolutely swear up and down they do. No, this is because you're doing really fucked up weird things, and you're ingesting weird shit that you shouldn't ever ingest if you had any fucking sense. And they're ingesting it in massive quantities into their fucking pie hole faces. So, and I live in this country. I have to deal with this. I have to deal with people that I feel like might attack me at any point in time, like an angry fucking hippo. And I don't know what I'm going to do about that, for fuck's sake. They're probably going to try to fucking eat me, because Lord knows they consume everything else. Like pieces of plastic, I'll eat that. Fucking cardboard, I'll eat that shit too. What is that? That looks like it has flavor on it. I'll eat that too. I'll put that in my mouth. Like, they're like retarded children. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't use that word, but I mean, it's incredibly simple-minded. And this is the country I was born into. Fantastic. One of my small quests is to get deported out of the country, and then maybe get deported out in a way that I get to pick another country, because then I get sent to another country for free. I don't have to get a passport or anything. They're just gonna kick my ass out. I don't want to come back anyways, and I'll just live somewhere else, and then they could just go fuck themselves because I'm not paying any of my bills after that shit. It's gonna great. It really, it's not that bad, but like seriously, Americans, for other people in America, are the scariest fucking people you'll ever meet. Like, there's nothing scarier to an American than another American. I'll be completely honest with you. Because Americans are weird fucking in general. Like, just very weird ideas about things that have nothing to do with being international. Because we often claim we're internationally aware. We're not. Most people in America have never been anywhere else in their life. They don't know what life is like outside of America. They live in a fucking bubble. They live in a fucking bubble. They don't know. It's just it's a larger scale version of how people in Southern California are, who also live in a fucking bubble. People in Southern California honestly believe the entire world works like Southern California. It doesn't! Thank God. And they also believe they're massively progressive when they're actually using and doing things that have been around in the rest of the country for years, and they're just now getting it, and they think they're progressive. That's not the definition of progressive, sorry. You're actually regressive. You're behind everybody else. You're backwards, but I'm not going to try to convince anybody of that. I'm just glad I got the fuck out of there, but it was hilarious when it burst into flames. And I didn't do that. I tried. Like, I have my whole giant magnifying glass set up in space just for that very thing, and I just can't fucking get the thing to focus right. Because like I've been trying to set California on fire for years, and I couldn't figure it out, and it happened all on its own. There must be a God. The only thing I wondered about when California burst into flames is why it didn't happen sooner. Like, just didn't happen sooner. I'm like, if there ever was a place that needed to burst into flames spontaneously, just combust, it was Southern California. Like, oh, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, I'm surprised why the whole place is not like on fire and there's riots everywhere, like every day. Like, how that doesn't happen, I don't know. I mean, there's probably just the right amount of decent people. And there's decent people out there. You can find them. You might have to look really hard for them, but they're out there. I just wouldn't count on that. Did they? What are you talking about? The max? Oh, yeah, they put a cap on the level a long time ago. Sorry, Genox. I didn't notice that you were asking questions. I just saw the hey there thing. Half the time I don't respond to hey there's. Usually when someone greets me, they follow it up with some bullshit that I have to end up banning them for. They're like, hey there, and then they're like, and you fucking suck and you're a cunt, and then I have to kick them out. And so it's like, it's more of a wait and see kind of thing with me. I'm always wondering if people are actually in my stream to watch my stream, or if they're in here to pick a fight with me. Which honestly, I'm not too concerned either way, but you got a whole bunch of posts on my stream. I would have banned your ass by now. I have to check that sometimes, because when I see people with 0 posts just fucking hanging out in my stream, that makes me super fucking paranoid. So I got this thing in here. I get this thing in my chat right now called Scum Shop. I'm not making this shit up. Scum Shop. Scum spelled with a K. It's not even how you spell scum. Genius. Whoever made that fucking bot. I guess they were trying to be schooled, spelt with a fucking K. But anyways, I want to go to the Scum Shop. I want to see what they sell. I'm curious. They're a shop that sells scum, spelled with a K. I'm curious. You've intrigued me. What the fuck do you sell? Where's your storefront? I want to see it. I don't know why they're hanging out in my fucking chat, but maybe it's something that I get because I'm considered highly toxic, and so I get like weird toxic bots as well, so they can filter me into the toxic Whatever. So I get the scum shot bot. Yay. I earned the scum shot bot. I also have some other ones in here. Let's see what cool bots they stuck in my chat. I tried banning these fucking things. It doesn't work. Pocket Play bot. That one actually admits it's a bot. Pocket Plays bot. So we got Scum Shop. V&K. That's a fucking bot. Never said a goddamn thing. Virgo Pros. That's a fucking bot. Doesn't even have an existing account. I'm not sure about this one, but this Enzoic is probably a bot as well. Commander Root, definitely a bot. Another TTV viewer, definitely a bot. I don't know how it found its way into my chat. I didn't bring it here. It brought itself in here. So, I don't know. Bexel, definitely a bot. One Cultural, I'm pretty sure that's a bot as well. There's a lot of bots in my chat. Yeah, I saw your... I have to look. I have to see... Because I could also look through your posts, so I could see if you spent most of your posts just trolling my ass. Because people don't think that once I figured out how to do that, that I wouldn't actually look through chat logs. I will. And, like, you can come in here and act all fucking smarmy with me, but I'm just going to kick your ass right out. I actually do pay attention to a lot of things people don't think I pay any attention to. I only sort of got a mod that sort of maybe does something. I haven't actually ever had a mod that actually did anything. It was more of a gag, because I figured even if I had mods, they couldn't possibly keep up with the trolls that would end up in my chat. I've seen mods in chats to get a lot of trolls try to keep up with it. You can't. Like, you're going to get really pissed off and frustrated, and your streamer that you're trying to protect is also going to get frustrated and pissed off because it's out of control. And at that point, you usually just have to do drastic things with your chat. And usually people will be really obvious. Like, their fucking names will be like a troll name. Like, if someone comes in my chat and they have a troll name, I don't trust a fucking thing you say. If you don't have the intelligence to make a name that doesn't sound like it was made for fucking specifically trolling, I don't fucking care. I don't give a goddamn about what you say or think. Come in here with an actual name that means a fucking thing to me. And doesn't look like you're just going around fucking Twitch trolling people, because I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing, and I don't really need to have an argument with them about it. So I see people popping in sometimes with these fucking weird ass names, and I'm like, yeah, I might just kick you for the shits and giggles of it. It's just because maybe you need to think of like proper mature names that aren't like just weird shit. Just a string of words that they put together that are obviously almost always offensive. And that's my right. It's my right to kick someone out of my chat if I think they're going to start some shit because they have a weird, questionable name. Because Twitch doesn't do fucking anything. Like, I could put my security all the way up and Twitch would still let shit fly through because these fucking trolls know how to get past everything. They'll make multiple accounts. They'll make multiple fucking emails. They're little kids. And even if they're not little kids, they act like little kids. They spend all their goddamn time doing stupid, pointless crap. I don't know why I'm spending so much time talking about trolling and shit. Oh yeah, because of the Joker and people on the internet being fucking cunts. And they just can't let him have his fucking day. They can't let the director and their producer have their fucking day. Like, they just can't. They can't let them, like, get what they earned, like, with a lot of fucking hard work. It's just sickening. Yeah, bots are taking over. So I tell people I don't have bots in my chat, but that's kind of a lie because the bots are always here and I can't get rid of them. I don't know how to ban a bot from my channel. Twitch actually makes this impossible. I've tried banning bots. I've tried. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on them. Like, it just doesn't do anything. So some way, somehow, you define something as a bot, and for some reason that makes it unbannable. And it could just go into people's chats. And I guess so long as it's innocuous, it's okay. But I just don't even want them in my fucking chat at all. I want actual fucking people in my chat, not fucking robots. If I'm not using them, I certainly don't want other people's fucking robots in my chat. I don't care what the fucking purpose is. Look, you want to build a goddamn list for the internet? Come to my fucking channel. If you're not coming to my fucking channel, I don't want to be on your fucking list. I don't need your goddamn robots in here. No, you can't. Believe me, I've tried. I tried multiple times trying to ban bots, and it just doesn't do anything. It, like, actually does nothing. I think one actually went away, and then it came back, and I'm like, well, that didn't fucking work at all. Yeah, that's right. Pretty true. Most people do come into my chat to troll my ass. You voted for me to play Hello Kitty Online. You know what? I actually had a thing for Hello Kitty Online, and I almost played it because I think Hello Kitty is adorable. And I thought it looked really neat, and I was looking for something in that kind of like gameplay style, and I didn't care if it was for little kids. Fuck the little kids. I wanted to play me some Hello Kitty Online. It looked great to me. I liked everything about it, and I never touched it. I don't know why. I don't really have a good reason. I just never touched it. But I was signed up for like the alpha and the beta and all kinds of shit. Like they invited me to it, and I was all geared up for it, and then I didn't do it. Alright, so I like the Defender for whatever reason. I like this thing, even though nobody else likes this thing. But I want to see what I could do with it. And I have a blueprint for it, right? I do have a blueprint. I don't want to see what I can do with this, because I already know I can do too much with this. Like, this gun is fine. Like, I really don't think this gun needs any help. This gun is fine. You could blow shit up on top of yourself. You could teleport with this fucking thing. It's fine. There's nothing I want to do with this thing that I haven't already fucking done. I don't want to boost the damage. I don't want to do anything. I just want to leave it alone. Because as far as weapons go, this is just fine. Like, this never needed an advanced feature. This is one of the weirdest, most, like, you could do some crazy shit with this gun that you cannot do with any of these other guns. This gun's fine. Like, I don't want to do a damn thing to this. I don't want to touch it. The rest of the gun, like Alicia's shotguns, I want to do a lot of things to those. But that's because they're awful. Like, by design, they're awful. Is that Tocado? I don't even know what that means anymore. Because you uninstall Spacelords for any reason. Like, you don't even really need a specific reason. You could be like, if you breathe, I'm gonna uninstall Spacelords, and I'll be like, whatever, I'm gonna breathe, so suck a dick. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna not breathe just so you don't uninstall the game, because I know you'll probably reinstall it again anyways. Whether it's my fault or not. Does anybody else think it's funny that this gun has a ball sack? Because you know that's what this is, right? This is like the most masculine gun I've ever fucking seen. This thing has testicles. It's only got one testicle, but you know what? One testicle that's as powerful as this thing is fine. This is one hell of a testicle. This is the uniball to end all uniballs. And that's what makes this gun so great. Plus the fact that this is just like the fattest fucking snub I've ever seen. Well, it's not an extended mag. What this is I think this is a power unit, is what this actually is. This is like a battery. Because, like, look at the back. See these, those are, like, inputs or whatever. Most of the things in this game look like toy guns, honestly. Here's a fucking screw. There's a fucking screw in there. Like design wise, again, design wise, they're a fantastic. Like it looks like they actually looked up how to build guns and stuff like that. But functionally, someone needs to take their ass to a fucking shooting range. Like seriously, go to a fucking shooting range. Because if they want me to believe them at any point in time that they've actually done that, no, I'm calling bullshit on you. Okay, if Karen were here right now and she told me I do martial arts, I would believe her. Do you want to know why? Because I've seen pictures of it. And she's in really good shape, okay? If they want to tell me that they have experience with ballistics, no, I don't believe it for a second, okay? I've had people have extensive conversations with me that were in the military about ballistics and things of that nature. And those were very technical conversations that I mostly had to look things up on, okay? Mercury Steam is not those people. Okay? They have no idea what they're fucking talking about when it comes to ballistics. I'm not even sure they understand most things like bullet drop and things like that. Which, by the way, this game actually does a decent job of, but not on purpose. Like, this game does have, in a manner, what would be bullet drop, but it's only doing that because of the fact that your projectiles do sometimes often fire a bit of they follow a bit of an arc, which does actually simulate bullet drop, which is a weird thing to have. And like in this game where things need to be so fast and accurate because you're moving so fast and everything else is moving so fast, it's weird that we have bullet drop at all, like, or you know, that things will like arc. But there's reasons why that's also good, because if you aim a shot right, you could actually nail someone behind cover, because the arc or the bullet drop actually drops down into them, which is a crazy thing. And you'll see people do this in matches. You'll see people peg someone that's in cover because because of that mechanic, which again probably shouldn't be in the game in the first place. I'm pretty sure like the hit detection for like the hit scan weapons looks like an electric light show. Like it's just like a fucking strobe of lasers coming out of the gun, and maybe sometimes they hit, maybe sometimes they don't, and that's the hit scan. At this time, because I feel really guilty when I use them, it's gotta be Ayana. Ayana's my troll character, or my character that I play to be a dickhead. Because I know when I'm playing her, I'm being a dickhead. And I would never try to deny that. For the brief time, everybody thought that this character was garbage, and they buffed her because of that, which is why I'm so irritated with everybody that said these things. They're like, oh, none of her talents are good. Her weapons are useless. Blah, 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 blah. They just went on and on about how worthless she was. And then they buffed her. They buffed her in a very pointless way because of people complaining so much about her. So she's broken as fucking hell. She has like unlimited mines, so there's no limit to how many mines she could put out. That's super broken. Okay, that's super broken. You could plaster a fucking level with her mines. Like, just absolutely fucking plaster it. Her hook has way too much range, and it does damage. I mean, she's extremely easy to break with her talents. Like, just absolutely break the fuck out of. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I try to avoid her. Unless I'm super pissed off. And I'm just basically using her out of spite. In the same way I might use Constantine. Because Constantine, and maybe Hive by the same degree, these are characters that I think are overly simplistic. And they're more suited to trolling people than they are to actually playing the game. Like, you could troll people really hard with Constantine. You could troll people really hard with Hive. You could troll people really hard with Iyun. And, of course, you could troll people really hard with Ayana. And this, in a way, makes them really good antagonists. And let's not forget, you control people really hard with this dude over here. Mr. Fantastic Herrick. So any of these characters that you control people with very easily, I don't find myself wanting to use. Because most of the time I see these characters are being used to troll. And that's not to say you can't troll with any of the characters that I use instead. It's just I recognize certain characters as being extensively used to troll. It's like even Doldrin. But I use Doldrin in a sort of weird, spiteful way because I like to show people different ways to use Doldrin. Because I swear to God, if you watch people play Doldrin, you will only think that the thing that you could do with him is a one-punch build where you pop up behind people constantly and you spend all of your time in fucking Astral. You will honestly believe that if no one tells you differently, because that is all fucking people do sometimes. That is it. That is as far as their fucking creativity goes. He is an incredibly diverse character. And mostly all people ever do is appear behind people and use one-punch builds. That's it. And they think they're being a genius. No, you're just being fucking lazy. and they might say cheeky things like, "Oh, I'm looking up builds or whatever." Yeah, no, you're not. Don't fucking lie. You could ask anybody how to break Doldrin and they can tell you. One-punch builds with Doldrin are extremely meta. Extremely. And I'll be frank, I don't think one-punch builds should exist, period. Like, they really probably should nerf those punch cards so you can't ever get a one-punch build going. You should always have to do 2 punches at least. I don't think one-punch builds should exist. And of course I'll get some hate for that, for saying that. But, like, one-punch builds are just fucking stupid. It completely destroys the CQC system. And I think they allow it because they understand their CQC system just doesn't work. So as a caveat to that, they're like, well, here's a way around it. Just like unlimited ammo and dropping Aleph. All of these things that we do, instead of them actually making the CQC work. No, nothing that you could you should be able to kill someone with. Even Herrick. I will be blunt. I don't think Herrick should be able to kill anybody in a single shot. I think it should take 2 shots. I know that's really harsh, but just bear with me here. Like, I just don't think anybody should be able to get a single shot kill or punch. I just don't think that should happen. It's way too much luck and way too little counter friendly. Like, you should always have the opportunity to counter. Do you know how you counter a one-shot kill? You don't. Okay? You just don't. If they shot you successfully, you're dead. There is no counter for that. Okay? So you have to think ahead. You have to think, well, I know they're using Herrick, so we have to use the barrier, we have to use the defender, we have to use Lycus, we have to use characters, or Suma, we have to use characters that are going to counter the single shot kill so the single shot kill doesn't happen. Well, here's the thing. If that wasn't even a thing in the first place and you couldn't get single shot kills, you wouldn't even need those things as much as you do. And it's really not necessary. You still would want shields on a character, regardless of if Herrick kills you in 1 or 2 shots. 2 shots is still really fast. 2 shots from Herrick can come super fast. I'm just saying, you should have the fucking opportunity to dodge the second shot. You shouldn't die by that first shot. Okay? And again, people are going to hate me for this, but I don't fucking care because they probably run Herrick too goddamn much. And they're probably using busted ass fucking builds. Yeah, the CQC is really supposed to be about brawling. It is. It's what it's all about. Like, if you look at what Lycus is about, what is Lycus about? Like, what is the meaning of Lycus? He charges into battle with his shield, and then he's got a one-punch build, so he kills him in 1 punch. Oh, I thought he was a brawler. Not this Lycus. Not this version of Lycus. He just knocks people out in a single punch. And Lycus is supposed to be a brawler. He's supposed to get in there and mix it up with people. That's the whole point of why his shotguns are short range and everything. Like, he has super short range shotguns, except for the spinning coin, which I debate is not a shotgun. It's a rifle. Suck on that. I said I'll freckled with that. It's fine. It's just like, I'm just gonna be a dick and just say it's not a shotgun. I don't care. I'm waiting for Woody to pop in here because he likes that thing too. And I used to use the spinning coin a lot, but I'm gonna tell you, it works because it's not a shotgun, and they don't know how to make shotguns. So therefore, because it's not a shotgun, it works, and that's it. Tank Hive can be evil. As soon as people figure out how to run a Tank Hive is a fucking beast. She is a fucking beast. But I don't think that that's the best way to run Hive. Like, it's in a lot of ways, it's a very ineffective way to run Hive, unless your goal is to draw a ton of aggro and be able to absorb a ton of damage. Then Tank Hive, but like, let's say, it makes sense, but let's say your goal is to get kills, like one-on-one kills. Tank Hive actually doesn't make as much sense as you would think it does. I mean, even now with the one-hit kills gone, you could still technically throw a Tank Hive off the stage, right? Right? Am I wrong? Like, no matter how much health you have, they chuck you off the stage, you're dead. Good luck with your Tank Hive build. You're probably better off doing something of a utility build with her instead that makes her a little bit more usable. That's why I love Stroma so much, because Stroma adds some very much needed support to Hive. She has some other stuff that she could do besides Stroma, but Stroma's the one I like the most. And it's not easy to get your hands on. You have to do some real farming on talents. Or you had to roll a lot of fucking cards back in the day. You had to shuffle a lot to get that talent card. So it's a lot of people won't run Stroma. Spurs was a very popular one, and I haven't tried Spurs again in a long time. I think I might have it, but Spurs was the really big meta ones. People loved Spurs. Yeah, Healer Hive is one of my favorite metas. That is not actually a meta. I mean, it may be somewhat meta now because Suki, like, started using it. And Suki turns everything he does into a meta. But, like, I've been using that fucking build for a long-ass time. And, of course, Zeroth was pissed off at me about it because he claims he told me about it. But I just fucking did it because I was messing around with Hive. Like, it had nothing to do with him using it. In fact, I don't even think I knew that he was using it. Or I remembered. And maybe that's really bad of me, but, I mean, I wasn't purposely trying to rip him off or anything. Not that you can rip off builds for people. And it's not like he streams or anything. We just always talked about builds. Like, that was just always a point of discussion for people in the community to discuss various builds and why they would use a particular card over another card, and it would open up debates. And the developers actually like this. They like that we debate over which card to use over another card because it shows great diversity within the card system. And there's always been some really nice options in the cards in this game, much better so than the weapons. The weapons were always the soft side. In fact, the combat itself was always the soft side of what you could do as far as diversity went. It was always the cards that made you go like, ooh, I didn't know I could do that. And you could do crazy stuff. And it worked in a way that skill trees don't. Because usually in a game with a skill tree, you're building up all these other things while you're trying to get to another thing. So you end up with all this extra crap that you don't want or need. So Mercury Steam actually created a system that actually trims out most of the fat from a skill tree. It trims most of it out, and I like that. I like that you could just go directly to what you want. It has a nice immediacy to it. And no matter how that immediacy comes to you, whether it's randomly or you're purchasing them like you do now, to me it's still the same. Like it's better than a skill tree. I just don't like skill trees. I've played so many games of skill trees and I fucking hate them every time. So I want to get to a particular skill. It never fails. I see a skill. It doesn't always have to be at the bottom, but usually they put the really cool stuff at the bottom, right? The actually interesting stuff, not the generic, oh, this gives you +1 to this stat kind of bullshit. That's just fucking stat growth. Like actually cool, interesting shit. They stick it at the bottom. And you have to grind your way through this fucking skill tree to get at the cool stuff. And it's irritating. It always irritates me. And thank God that's like the one thing they didn't fucking do. And I'm super surprised about this because I'm always expecting this game to get a skill tree. Like it kind of did. Like the cards kind of are a skill tree. It's just a weird, bonkers version of a skill tree. And actually, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that. But maybe that's just because I knew so many people weren't okay with it. But yeah, I just don't like skill trees. So like when I knew that Darksiders Genesis was gonna have something, because I watched the stream and I looked at the screenshots and stuff, I'm like, ooh, I really want to play this, but that looks like a fucking skill tree. And then I actually played the game and I'm like, oh, thank God it's not a skill tree. Like, it's something sort of like a skill tree, but it's really just for stat building, and there's other passives in there, so it's sort of a skill tree and sort of not, because you could place things wherever you want. So it's very organic. It's actually, if technically is a skill tree, but it's a very organic one, and I love how they did it. I love that you just slot things in. It feels like when you're doing enchantments on weapons and stuff like that, it feels just like that. Like you're just slotting in these gems and it gives you some properties. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I just don't want it to be a fucking skill tree. I don't want to fucking grind. Are you talking about in this game, Takato, or are you talking about in any other game? Because I know there's some really nice stuff. Like Stroma, the rare version, of course, is definitely way at the bottom. Like, that is one of the last things you'll ever touch with Hive. It is. That's why I just tell people, like, just go for the common version first, see if you're even going to use it, and then try for the rare version. Because, like, the common versions are fairly accessible. You don't have to blow a lot of gold or time to get at them. And you should really know if mechanically the card works for you. Don't just please don't just use a card or a talent because someone told you it's good. Be skeptical. Try it out. And if you're not convinced, use something else. Why? Because at least then you've put forth the effort to not just fucking copycat someone. And if you do use it, it's because you're using it for your own reasons. Maybe you see some potential in it that no one else sees. Okay, you could copycat someone, but still use a build in a different way than anybody else has. But really, like, you should be critical about it and not just take things at face value, because people just want us to tell them builds all the time. Like, I know you've had it happen to you. I'm sure Genux, you've had it happen to you. I'm sure Cookies has had it happen to them, where people just come up to you and they're like, tell me how to build my character. No, don't tell them how to build their fucking character. Force them to build their own character. Force them to think. You can give them suggestions, and that's what you should tell them. Be like, I can give you suggestions, but don't tell them how to build it. Please, for the love of Christ, stop telling people how to specifically build their fucking characters. Let them use their goddamn brain box on their own. Because every time you do that and you tell someone exactly how to do something, you diminish them, and you replace them with you, and you're doing them a great disservice. You think you're doing them a favor, but you're not. You're diminishing them, and that's a horrible thing to do to somebody. It is an absolute horror, and you should feel bad about it. You should absolutely make them think for themselves and feel part of the process. A part of why this community is so goddamn bitter is because they don't try to think at all for themselves. Like, there's not too many healthy debates left in this game. It's all about people either being pro meta or not pro meta. That's it. And the reason why that is because you're either listening to what people tell you have to use, or you're not, and they're telling you you're a fucking dumb cunt. And that's just stupid. Like, if I don't like something like a one-punch build and you decide to use it anyways, you know what? That's your choice. But I would just like to think that you did that because you feel it's either necessary or you feel that you could work with that, not because someone told you specifically, this is how I want you to build your character. These 2 cards, and here's how you farm all the way to. Basically, they go through all the steps of everything you need to do. Don't do that. That's not how you educate a person, okay? That is how you do the work for them. And that person will never learn how to learn, because the second you walk away, Mr. or Mrs. Helpful that you are, they're going to be just as lost as when you started helping them, because you never actually fucking helped them. You didn't teach them anything. You just told them something. And you probably implied very strongly that they should do it. You are a fucktard. And you are quite literally retarding their growth in the game. And I take great offense to that. Because when I get my ass handed to me by a newbie, to me that's a wondrous thing. That means that they've taken the time to be competitive with someone that has literally played this game way too fucking much. And I'll be the first one to admit, I could be a lot better than I am with how much I've played this game. But I'm still a good gauge for anybody to use to determine if somebody's ingesting information or not. If I could easily hand them their ass, chances are they haven't learned a thing. Especially if they come at me repeatedly with the same tactic over and over and over again. Because part of what makes you really successful in this game is diversity in your playstyle. Like, you could have a playstyle, but you have to have diversity within it. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself getting shut down really fast. Like, people will only put up with your fucking bullshit for so long before they start shutting you down, and they shut you down hard. Whether it's the antagonist getting fed up with raiders using really base, dumbass tactics, like rushing straight at the antagonist. My God, why do people rush straight at an antagonist in like a fucking single file line? What is wrong with you people? Or like it's a raider, like getting fed up from getting killed by an antagonist doing the same stupid shit over and over again. Like, eventually people are people. They're going to get fed up. And when they get fed up, they're going to put forth real fucking actual effort. And if you're just doing the same thing over and over again, it's not that hard for them to figure out a counter to that if they have a brain in their box. So I always try to encourage people away from those kinds of things. It's a crutch, and it's a crutch that will be used against you. Always try to be diverse. Try to use as many weapons, as many cards, as many characters as you can. However, I'm going to contradict myself here in saying that try not to unlock too many characters too fast. And the reason why this is because you're going to very quickly get overwhelmed by what this game has, which a lot of people will deny it has, which is amazing depth that you will get absolutely drowned in. And it will overwhelm you, and you will want to quit the game for that alone. Unless that's your bag. And if that's your bag, then you're just going to keep unlocking characters, because you are a collector. And I actually claimed that title for myself a long time ago. I used to tell people, it's just like, I don't really unlock these characters because I want to use them so much as I just collect them. Like, I want to collect all the characters and play around with them. And that's my interest in these characters. It has nothing to do with like grinding them out at all. Like, it has to do with I want to have all of them. And I go to great lengths to do that. And that's never going to change. Like, I just like collecting them. But with my Steam account, you could see I moved away from that. And I moved away from it because I could see the severe error in that, and I tried to hold it off as long as possible, because I have finally had an opportunity to start the game in a situation where there were many characters I could play. Originally, when I first started playing this game, there weren't a bunch of characters. So every new character I could unlock was a huge deal. If you're just starting out in this game, it's not a huge deal to unlock a character. There's plenty of characters. Like, this is a lot of fucking characters. It's more than you'll ever fucking need. You should really think about specializing in a couple of characters, looking through all their stuff really thoroughly, and then going from there. And use that character as a basis to learn other characters. Because it can be. A lot of these characters have definite links They did this on purpose. Maybe it's because they're lazy, or maybe they did it on purpose for sure. But a lot of these characters are almost like an evolved form of another character. And if you understand how characters work like other characters, it'll make transitioning to a new character that much easier. But if you never took the time, you never experimented, and you just do the meta, you're going to play every character you play very, very poorly. However, of course, for your satisfaction, you will still win matches. Not because you've actually learned anything or are getting better at the game, but just because the game is going easy on you, and because you're probably using the most broken shit that someone could find for you to use. And they just, that's the winner's attitude. You want to be in the winner's pool. You want to win every single time. So you use what is established as working. It would be considered the best practice, which another name for that would just be the meta. But a meta doesn't have to be best practice. A meta can actually be very contradictory to best practice. It just has to be something that a lot of people use for whatever reason. And there has been times where I thought metas were ridiculous. Like, I couldn't even see the point in them. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to stick to a meta like that, because it actually wasn't that effective anyways. It was just a dumb meta that people attached themselves to. I mean, there's some weird metas floating around in this community. So if you ain't not about this, I know you guys are getting sick and tired of me talking, but some people claim that that's not the case. And they all love to hear me talk about all this nonsensical shit. I go over life, video games, design, penises. Penises come up at some point or another. I can say that. Penises. It's a real word. It's the technical term for the male genitalia. Penis. So yeah, it'll come up at some point or another. I used to like saying a bag of dicks because I thought that was the funniest thing ever. It's probably because I'm incredibly immature for my age, but that doesn't matter. Bag of dicks is hella funny, okay? I mean, I guess you could say a bag of ripe cunts, I guess. I mean, that's kind of just awful and disgusting sounding, but like a bag of dicks is just funny. When you think about a bunch of dicks in a bag flopping around, and you slap someone with a bag of dicks, that's, no matter how you look at it, that's pretty fucking funny. It is gross, but it's also really funny because they're just flopping around in there and whatnot. But so the first time I ever heard bag of dicks, because I don't know when that shit got invented, I thought, well, that's just ingenious. I don't know why I don't just carry around a bag of dicks with me all the time. And if I ever get assaulted, I just happen to have a bag of dicks on me. And maybe I hit them with the whole bag, or maybe I just flip a few of them out and start using them like nunchucks. Because for some reason I decided to attach a chains to my couple of dicks that I happen to carry around in my bag of dicks. And I start wielding my dick chucks. What would you even call those? I start wielding my dick chucks, and they're probably so freaked out and horrified by what is happening that they just leave me the fuck alone, because nobody's prepared to be attacked by dick chucks or a bag of dicks, right? That's a little bit too much for most people. Even hardcore criminals would be like, oh, you know what? I signed up for a lot of things. I did not sign up for dick chucks and bags of dicks. This is something I did not sign up for. I'm done. There's no way you're paying me enough to fight someone to fight someone that is wielding penises as a weapon. And that's why we have the baseball bat that's a dildo in Saints Row, because it was so fucking ridiculous. Like, the fact that you would attack someone with a weaponized dildo was so fucking ridiculous and so strangely offensive but funny at the same time that you ended up... Yeah, I mean, we could have a fucking dildo weapon. I mean, fuck, some of our melee weapons look like fucking dildos anyways. Somewhere out there in the weird, strange porn that's created for Spacelords, someone is getting themselves off on like one of the weapons because of its unique shape or design. Like, some of them kind of look like a what do they call them? It's on a rocking horse. It's just called a horse. It's a particular weird sexual torture device. And like, they're just sitting on the fucking blade, and they're just like, yeah. And you happen upon this art, and you're like, wow. Well, I mean, I guess that's a thing too. Um, because if we could have bags of dicks, we got to have that too. We actually fucking build this thing. I did get some points thanks to Freckled and playing with him. I got some points. Do I have enough? Oh, I have enough. I wanted to do an improved extraction at least once to see what exactly is so fucking improved about this. Okay, copies a random slot. Okay, so it's a random slot. Except the epic ones. So I don't know if these... So people are telling me these don't work. These ones. So does it have to be from... Copies the mod from... Oh, a specific coordinate. Okay, so some people have told me about these things. So these coordinates are... here. Wait a second. Wait. Copies the mod from the 2B coordinate. The A? What is A and B? Oh, A is column A. Okay, and that's B column. Okay, I get that. This is super fucking complex. I gotta pee, and I gotta let my cats out because they're fucking hating me right now. We'll talk about weaponized, sexualized weapons in a bit. I mean, I know you're all a bunch of fucking violent perverts, so I know you get off on this shit, you weirdos. Fucking weirdos. I don't know how y'all don't just work in fucking sex shops. Yeah, okay, I'm back. Yeah, I've heard they don't work, but yeah, groupthink. No, it's just true, Cookie. Like, we should be using groupthink. We used to, a lot. Before we got so terribly toxic with one another and like, really ultra competitive in weird ways. Like, we were ultra competitive about what got into the game. It's just like, let's just be happy that anything fucking gets into the game, first of all. Because, like, this game should be dead. Right? Anybody that looks at this game is got to be amazed it still exists. So the fact that they added anything to it at all, we should be at least somewhat happy about that, because that means the game just didn't die. Because a lot of people were, you know, saying this game should die a long time ago. And I'm sure they would have been very happy if that happens, because then, again, they get to be right. And I don't see that. I don't see a lot of what you would call groupthink, where people, like, combine their ideas together and they as a group, for the betterment of everybody, because this is what communities can do, and they don't have to, because, like, no matter what game you go to, there's always going to be people telling you what to do, whether it's Warframe or Destiny or this. There's always going to be that fucking asshole that tells you you have to do this specific thing. And, you know, those people just can't leave well enough alone. They can't let people have their own personal struggle, which is super important. It's very important for a person to have a personal struggle. Like, you can guide someone and you can give criticisms, but you should still let them have their struggle. Strife, okay? The finally playable character in Darksiders. I'm super stoked. He's amazing to play, though, by the way. Like, it's so hard to use War. But then again, it's not, because he's still a fun character. He's so powerful. So powerful. So mannish. But Strife is fucking amazing. And Strife is a very curious thing. If you don't understand what Strife is. That Strife is quite literally all about the struggle. And it's super important to growth. Strife is probably the most valuable character in all of the Four Horsemen, because what Strife does is he encourages the struggle, which is weird, but it's also a very important thing. That's how you have growth, and that's eventually how you have, like, a broader growth, which is more like an evolution. You can't have that without struggle. You can't have that without strife. Same thing. That's why, to me, he was the character that I was the most interested in. And a personal fact, when I was working on a game that I didn't finish, and I still have all the notes for, the character that was based on me was basically Strife. That was the type of character that character was. There were 3 types of main characters, or 3 meta characters, you could say, that represented this entire metaverse that I was creating. One of them was extremely creative, one of them was incredibly intelligent, and one of them was all about struggling. The one that I based on myself was all about struggling. Each of these were actually based on one of the developers. We had at that time 3 developers. Myself, Vil, and a guy named Mika, and he was our stay on artist. He did concept art for us for a long time, and he did some non-concept art as well, which was really cool. But mainly he would pass the concept art on to me, and I would either do the more finalized art and do, like, the CG shit and shit like that, which I probably should have been doing, but or Vil would do it. So but mainly he was the main art person, and honestly I wanted him to do all the art stuff, and then that way I could focus on the design stuff, and then Vil could focus on the code and the structuring of the game. And it was actually coming together quite well. Unfortunately, like, my design wasn't keeping pace with everything else, I guess. Even though, like, if you saw what I came up with, it was very, very well developed and very structured, and there was, to this day, I can go back to it and I could build half a dozen games out of it, because they're pretty thorough. Like, I was coming up with language systems, which were ciphers, basically. more or less they were ciphers, and things like that. They weren't really technically languages. They were more like ciphers, but they were in the guise of a language. Obviously, I'm not going to teach you a fucking language and have you expect you to learn it. But it was, I was excited. He actually got mad at me one day when I was talking to him about that. I'm like, oh, I invented the language. He's like, fuck you, you did not invent a language. He's like, you invented something that kind of looks like a language. He got really upset with me. Bill was obviously a very much more intelligent person than I am, but like quite a bit younger than me, but very, very smart. And he got really pissed off that I said that because I was excited, because I'd come up with all these different things. I was using things that I'd seen in the real world, and I was turning them into ways to interact with the game. I saw at that time people were texting and they were using keypads. So I had an entire language that was based on that mechanic, with where you would use the keypad, or that kind of design, I should say. And there was all kinds of other ones. It got pretty strange. It was all based upon how I felt things should flow, and each of these characters would have their own gameplay style. Like completely different gameplay style. We're talking like shooter versus brawler versus rhythm-based game. I mean, it got really, really off on tangents, but that was the whole point. I wanted to make a game that anybody could play, but not by saying, here's a character class, okay, but it's still an action game. I wanted you to play the genre of game that you enjoyed within this bigger game. And then I also wanted you to interact with other people playing their genre. And it was a real big puzzle for me to get all these different genres to blend with each other. But the funny thing is a game is a game. So all genres technically have blending points or points where they overlap. So it's possible, but it's something you'll probably never see. And I really did believe that we were going to be the ones to do it, and I was super confident in this because I was young and dumb. But yeah, I mean, that shit still exists. I would love to fucking take that shit to Mercury Steam and be like, come on, let's just build this fucking thing. But it's never going to happen. It's going to sit in my dusty old folder where it remains for a long fucking time. And when I'm fucking dead, someone will probably find it and maybe they'll make it into something, but I don't know. Anyways, let's get back into this because I want to build this thing. All right, so what did I want to do? You guys are going to have to help me out with this. That would be awesome. Oh no, that subtracts. That's shit. I don't want that. I don't want something that subtracts everything. I want something that adds everything. That adds everything. That adds everything too. I would want that ideally. What is that? Oh, that minus the 6 normal points. So that's the cost of that. What the fuck? Does this mean that transfers all advanced characteristics to overload? Over reload. Alright, so let's do this, because there's no higher option than this. There's not like another even more expensive. You're fine, Takato. I don't expect you ever to use your brain, so, I mean, you're okay. So I'm going to get an epic, 2 commons, and a 3rd. I actually did pretty well with my pull, my free pull that I did. I don't know if that was on purpose, like they purposely gave me a good pull of mods, because I don't like the fact that this is all rare. So it's just like, so 2 commons, 3 rares, and 1 epic. Let's look at what that means. What are these? Those are epics. These are commons. These are your rares. Red. So it goes blue, red, yellow. Fantastic colors, because gold has never been associated with, oh, I don't know, something called a legendary. And blue is usually an epic. These color schemes are all fucked up. They really don't get color schemes. Like, well-established color schemes in games that do what they're doing. They just don't understand why these color schemes have existed for so long. And they just keep... they do weird color schemes that really fuck with your head. Like, at least this makes sense. It's gold. It's not a legendary. It's an epic instead, but it serves the same purpose as a legendary would. I suppose they could have subdivided this up even more, and normally I would expect that from them, but thank God they didn't, because they subdivide the fuck out of everything in this game, and it ends up resulting in a lot of grinding. So these are just good cards. They just, this costs you more regardless. But so you can't just use these. You can't just use these because, like, this by itself would be fucking anything. Unless you want to do, like, a base stat weapon. And there's only so much point, so here's the thing. Shit. God damn it, why would it go so far back out? I hate when games do that. So, these can only go up to 15, no matter what you do. You're never going to get more than a max 15, alright? And this is still busted, I think. Anyways, you're never going to get more than a 15. So there's no point in putting more points into this, unless you're not at max forge. And then there's some point to it, so keep that in mind. There's two uses for this mod system, in general. One is to get access to these, which you don't need to do. I'm going to tell you that you don't need to use these. Even they warned us about this. These are kind of weird. Now, certain things like this, over reload or auto reload, I don't know why you wouldn't want this. I honestly don't. This just makes your gun better. Okay? So whatever the cost of this thing, it's worth it. Because of what it does. Because if it affects how many rounds you have in a clip, or, you know, that you get a free reload, even if it's just a single shot, which is fucking amazing on the Smoking Daisy, yes, these are good. These other ones, debatable. There seems to be one real utility one, which is like this one, that is, I think, a no-brainer. For someone like Takato. He doesn't want to brain it. He wants to no-brain it. So if you're going to no-brain it, this seems like the no-brain way to go. It's like, you find the utility one, and that's probably something you should think about throwing points into. Now, on the other hand, this over here, so the 37 to the 37, that you can grow. So you can grow these points beyond, I guess, that top amount or some shit like that. And also growing these into bigger bars, because the capacity of these is determined by this. These they're not even usable. I can't do anything with these right now until I install mods. And so for that reason, like, if you're not going to use this stuff, or you have a max forge weapon already, you really don't need to mess with this. Like, I'm just going to tell you that right now. What's the big brain one? The big brain one is to make sure every single so you want to, like, max it or make it like the best. You're gonna want all the chips to link up from the top to the bottom. They're gonna have that white connection that goes between the two chips. That is the big brain, and that is a pain in the ass to do. I'm gonna be super blunt about this too. You cannot do that on a single roll. This is still a dice roll, no matter how you look at it. You cannot do this on a single roll. No matter if it's a more expensive roll like this one, which is like 3 times plus more expensive, just so you can get better stuff, or this one, which doesn't give you anything but rares and commons, right? No matter what. Oh, and there's also a 25% chance that one rare is epic, which I actually did have happen to me. I ended up with an epic, which, like I said, is super. And this just guarantees you an epic. So that's what this does. It guarantees you an epic. Is that all it does? Yeah, pretty much. It moves. Wait, now let me see that. So it moves most of them into rare. Actually getting less? No, you're getting the same amount. Let me see that math is. No, you are getting less. No, it's the same. It's always 6. You're always going to get 6. So, yeah. This just guarantees you an epic. This does not guarantee you an epic. And since there's only 4 epics, and I don't know if these change per weapon, has anybody been able to confirm if the weapons themselves have different mods for them? Like, I know we have different advanced features on different weapons, right? But has anybody noticed that certain weapons have different mods that are associated with them as well? Like, is there just a fuck ton of different mods for different weapons? And that what is available to a particular weapon may not be available to another weapon? Has anybody been able to iron that out at least? That all of these mods that I see are the same mods. I guess the easiest way to go about it is just look at a different weapon, right? So, the Bloody Mary. As far as I can tell, it's the same stuff. That looks the same, right? This is all the same. So as far as I can tell, it's all the same stuff. And it maybe not, doesn't matter what gun it is. The mods are all the same. Which means once we figure out, this is important, because someone's going to create a spreadsheet. Okay? Someone is going to create a spreadsheet. I'm not going to name names, but someone is going to create a spreadsheet. Maybe their name starts with an M and ends with a C. They're going to create a spreadsheet, and it's really important for them to know that there's a finite, like this very finite number of mods, and it's the same ones for all weapons. Kind of like these faction talent cards are the same for all locals. It's very important that it be as limited as possible so they can get right into the meat of it and start experimenting with how these things interact, which takes a fuck ton of gold. It's going to take you a lot of gold. Is it gold? Well, not really gold, because you could experiment without actually building the weapon, which is kind of what's nice about this system. No, we don't have meta mods. No, not yet, but we will, because it is a static system. So unless they decide to add in more mods or change certain existing mods, yes, there will be a meta for this. Yeah, of course. There's a meta for everything. Cookie, there's a meta for penises. Okay. Penises. There's a meta for that. There's a meta for everything. So of course there'll be a meta. Unless things are completely fucking randomized, there's always going to be a meta. That's how you avoid metas, honestly, is just complete randomization. Then you can't have a meta. A meta cannot exist in that environment. Then your meta is a different kind of meta. It's usually based upon how you play, based upon what you're given. And I've played a lot of roguelites, probably too many. And the ones that are giving me randomized shit all the time definitely force me to go out of my comfort zone and figure out how I'm going to use these particular things in an efficient way. Yes, the PP meta, the booty meta, the coochie meta, and the waifu meta, of course. All important to Spacelords. Especially the waifu meta. The waifu meta, or the what is it waifu or maifu? Is it maifu? It's maifu. I can't remember what the male equivalent of a waifu is. We'll just say men are waifus too. It's just an easy way to go about it. It's super important to people. Like, some people are very sexually attracted to these characters, like in probably a very unhealthy way. Husbando, I'm not gonna accept that. That sounds so dumb. No, thumbs down on husbando. They're waifus too. I don't care. I mean, technically, they're in an illicit relationship with them that they probably never had a choice in the first place. Because, like, waifus are kind of like slaves. They're like sex slaves when you think about what it actually is. Like, you want a sex slave, and you want a very particular type of sex slave. So, it doesn't really matter if you feminize them or not, because they're your bitch. And your bitch is still a bitch. So, whether you use a more masculine or feminine term doesn't really matter. They're still a bitch. A bitch is a bitch. A bitch is a bitch is a bitch. So yeah, no, I think waifu's good enough. Oh, booty meta, yes. Oh, booty meta is super important. Yeah, we have a very distinct booty meta. Like comparison of booties. There was a game I played, Champions of Norath. Did y'all ever play Champions of Norath? And they did a very strange thing in that game. They did all the different character races had different cup sizes. Talk about hypersexualized fantasy characters. So each particular race you would go through would have a different cup size. The elves were very small cups. The like barbarians or some other ones were very big cup sizes. And it was hilarious because they absolutely all had different breast sizes. And it was such a strange thing. I can't remember another game that had such consistency where they were like, this particular race and character class has this boob size and this one has that boob size. It was very funny to me. It was so blatantly sexual. Oh, and who does Champions of Norath? Who owns that? God, I wonder. Does anybody know who owns Champions of Norath? What company owns the rights to that? I can't remember. It escapes me. Yeah, someone go look that up for me because I'm not really sure who owns the rights to Champions of Earth. I'm sure it'll come to me eventually. But yeah, it was a very interesting thing that they did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a really big company and they probably make consoles too. But yeah, they went a little overboard with that. As sometimes companies from a particular country like to. Because they do make a lot of hypersexualized content. Boop, 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 boop. There go all my fucking points that I earned. Alright. I'm gonna put my music back on. I need my good morning song playing while I'm doing this. I lied to you, I lied to you, I lied to your face in the summer, face in the summer. Had long hair then, had long hair then. Goodbye to the lost. Good morning to my upstairs neighbor and the kids in the 42. Anybody left me a paper? Stop. And I wish that I can live life safer. Tell the Tesco Blue. And lend me a paper too. I love this song. Name. It changed in me. Something had changed in me. Not the same. This is such a good album. Rolling Thunder. And he... God, I love that part. That part of that song always kills me. Rolling Thunder. He uses parts from other songs, like specifically references the lyrics from other songs in all of the other songs within the album. And it's the funniest, weirdest thing I've ever seen someone do. It's almost like a very strange inside joke to see if you figure out that like all of the songs are actually part of the same weird meta song. Like it's just one giant song. It's like he's telling you a weird story of his life, but he's doing it through all these various songs, and because our memories often cross-reference other memories, like that's just how our brain is wired. The songs do that too, and it's super cool. Like his music really is just like a absolute like window into his fucking mind, and that's crazy fucking brave and just crazy in general to do that. So I feel like, what does this one do? Copies a random shot from an adjoining mod except the epic ones. Well, so that's, I'm gonna put that there because I feel like you should always start with that, and that's lit up. Okay, so now is this a tutorial? Is this actually tutorialing me? So it's telling me to, okay, so this mod can improve, worsen, or have no effect on the characteristics of your weapon. Now upload another mod from the available panel. And you don't have to build these right away, by the way. You could build them in parts, so you could kind of keep putting more work into it and before you build the weapon, which I highly, highly suggest you do. I highly suggest you don't just fucking build these weapons. Oh, and there's the A and the B, so you could see the A and the B slot. Like there's a diagram there for you while they're in this little modifiers available thing. 2 to the what? 2 to the... Okay, saying this here? No. No. Because, see, it didn't create a link. I don't know what this does. At the bottom. Shit, I don't think any of this crap is going to link right. Nope. That didn't link right either. None of these are going to link right. Oh, you didn't? Yeah, so the reason why you just noticed that is because that emote is very new. So that emote did not exist as was like several days ago. I can't remember. It was like 2 days ago, right? That Freckles got that emote finally live. So that emote is brand spanking new. He had it for a while as far as like he submitted it, but Twitch takes forever to fucking get emotes up. So this is why I encourage people to use their channel points, because you could immediately use branded content, whether it's emotes or otherwise, without waiting for fucking Twitch to get back to you, because they won't. They'll make you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And it gets really fucking silly. So, yeah. I don't suggest it. You might not have subbed, Nero. You might have gotten gifted. It's possible someone gifted you a sub like Malevolence. I think sometimes will gift subs to people. Anybody that really supports Freckles, or any streamer for that matter, will often gift other people subs. It doesn't specifically mean that you did this. Why is that like a fucking flat line? Unstable. Huh. Oh, it says my connection is unstable. Why is it unstable? Is anybody having trouble watching my stream? Everybody could see me okay. No one's having issues with audio or video or anything like that. Because it's telling me my bitrate is unstable. And it never tells me that. And I'm not sure what I mean, I could restart the stream and see if that helps, but usually that's a bit of a warning sign with my connection in general. Anyways, I guess I'll just keep going. If it craps out, it craps out. Alright, so that's everything. That's a good one. But I've got like 1 fucking point in everything, which is not much. Shit, I guess. Okay, so those linked. And why did those link? Copies the mod from 1A coordinate. Wait, so I have to do it here? Yeah. Okay, because that's what that says, right? 1A? No, fuck. Put that there. I gotta put that like there. What the hell this thing does? Did I actually just make things worse? This is so confusing. Alright, so I need a 1A, a 2B. Oh, that's bad. I don't want that. Oh, fuck me. I guess I gotta move this shit around. Okay, that's better. Maybe? No, that didn't help. Jesus Christ. This is alright, so that's whatever it is. I got 38 points. Wait, did I actually get more points by doing that? No. No, that's bad. That just does nothing. Alright, so that's so far better. So this is what I suggest to do. Just shuffle things around and see if you can get better results. Because, like, fuck, I don't know. That didn't help. That's bad. That's good-ish. Doesn't seem to matter. So let's see if I can move this around. No? Doesn't matter. It does not matter. Hello? Can anybody confirm that they can hear me or see me or anything? So maybe that bit rate has have to do with... Alright.